Now let's take a journey through the buying funnel, ordered in the steps the potential buyer takes from visit to purchase, so we can see the information needed to make actionable decisions on the product level. In order to see key metrics pertinent to any particular item, hover over one of the weeks and we'll go and click on product details. This will take me to the SVA drill down on this particular item. Here, the information is categorized according to orders, the shopper funnel journey, which include visits and the success rate, cause and effect indicators, such as price and PPC, as well as the profitability of the item. Here, under orders, I can see that this item is categorized as a mover. That means this item is moving off the shelves of the Amazon warehouse at an average of more than 10 orders per week. By hovering on this dot, I can see the graph of the orders going back 7 weeks. The blue line is the number of orders made during that week, and the green line is the quantity. If someone bought 3 items, it would show up as 1 order, and the numbers on the green graph reflect the number of items sold. By hovering over the dot on the visits, I can see the breakdown of organic and PPC visits and the total number of visits, which is the top line. The green line reflects the organic visits, and the orange line at the bottom is the PPC visits. By hovering over the dot, we can see the success rate of this item, or in Amazon's language, the conversion rate. At Qari, we use the term success rate as it takes into account the number of visits it takes in order to successfully convert into a sale. Here we can see that this past week, it's taken on average 9 visits in order to convert to a sale. The item price shows how much the item is sold for on Amazon. You can see that this item does not have a price coupon, but if an item does, it will show up over here. The next line is the reviews and average rating that the item got during that particular week. Not every review is showed on your listing. However, if we do see that there were low ratings, like we can see over weeks 3 and week 7, it's worth checking the listing to see if that's influencing a customer's decision on whether to buy or not. The next section of the drill down addresses PPC. Here we see the number of displays, and by hovering over the dot, we can see it in a graph. This shows the number of times that the ad was displayed, but it doesn't necessarily mean that the potential customer saw it. It's a number that reflects the potential number of times that someone could have clicked into the listing. The number of clicks reflects the number of people who actually clicked on the sponsored ad. The CTR, or the click-through rate, divides the number of displays by the number of clicks and shows the rate at which people click into the sponsored ad. A good click-through rate would be about 1%. The higher the number, the higher the relevance of the ad. Next, we see the order alliance. The order alliance shows the percentage of orders coming through PPC. This week, the order alliance was 7%. That of the 43 orders this week, 3 of them came through PPC. Next is profitability. It's very important to note that the margin and the profit margin does not take into account PPC. The margin of this item is 15%. However, tacos was 2%. That means that this week, the margin on this item was 13%. The profit margin this week was 140. However, with an ad spend at 50, the true profit margin was 125. If you need a reminder about what you're looking at, wherever you see a small question mark, just hover and it'll explain what this item means. As well, there is the information bubble, which gives a more thorough explanation to the titles of this category. You can find it all here: the shopper funnel journey, the SBA drill down, as well as sessions. The default on QRE is set at 50. Any week with fewer than 50 visits will show up in red, indicating that there is a potential issue that needs to be further investigated. If there is a number of visits that is more appropriate to your company, feel free to change the number. If this were an item that I know regularly has thousands of visits, then changing it to a number such as 700 would be more relevant for this item. By changing it, I can see that the number of visits for all the weeks have now changed to red. If I want to take more of a bird's eye view of this item and compare how it's been doing the past 7 weeks to how it's been doing historically year after year, click on the zoom out. The zoom out takes you to a new page which shows engagement metrics, margin, and PPC. The legend on the right indicates which years we're looking at. Here we're looking at 2001 and 2002. Let's take a look at the engagement metrics. Let's look at July, which is the month showing the most recent data on this demo account. Here we can see the visits are down by a small number compared to last year. We can see that this July there were 1,546 visits, as opposed to last year, where there were 1,662 visits. However, this July there were more orders, 182 as opposed to 171 from last July. And here we see that the success rate this year was 8, whereas last year it was 10, meaning this July, this item was selling at a higher rate. So even though there are fewer visits, the item is more popular and more people are buying. Let's look at the margin. Here I can see that the margin is lower than it was last July. If cost of goods has increased or FBA fees increased, the margin will lower. However, please keep in mind that this number is before PPC. Let's now look at the metrics on PPC. The first graph shows the number of clicks that have come through PPC, the orange showing this year, and the blue showing last year's. The next graph shows the click-through rate. This reflects the percentage of people that clicked into the sponsored ad. This graph shows the PPC orders. Here I can see the number of orders on any given month from year to year. It shows the total advertising costs when taking into account both the PPC sales and the organic sales and dividing it by the ad spend. PPC Order Alliance shows the percentage of orders that came through PPC. Here we can see that this year in July, the order reliance was lower, meaning that more orders were coming through organic as opposed to last July, where it sat at 12%. If this item is a variation, you can click on this icon called the Variations Dashboard. Here, I can select a variation. For example purposes, I'll choose the chalk. And then you can compare how both those items are doing. The legend will show which item is showing which colors. The comparisons will show the number of visits of both items, the order numbers, and the success rate on a month-to-month basis, going back 6 months. Variations aggregated shows the total number of visits for the items that I chose, as well as the total order numbers, going back 6 months. Sales orders mix shows me the percentage orders on both variations. Here, I can see that on a month-to-month basis, this item, which is the chalk, has gradually been increasing in popularity from month to month when compared to its variation.